Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really embarking on a journey into some profound spiritual wisdom. We're talking about secrets that can illuminate the path to, well, extraordinary well being and maybe even ultimate realization. Think of this as your shortcut, a way to understand concepts that genuinely have the power to shift your whole perspective on life.
Indeed. And our deep dive today goes right into the essence of spiritual life. We're exploring the incredible power of devotion and the honestly unfathomable grace of the divine. Our source material today, it's drawn from a really powerful spiritual discourse from a revered master. And these teachings, they offer this unique blend, ancient wisdom, practical guidance, and just astounding revelations about reality, karma, divine grace.
Right.
And what's really compelling is how personal and experiential they are. They speak directly to your journey, far beyond just intellectual ideas.
And that's exactly why we're here today, isn't it? To unpack these insights for you, our mission, to help you get really well informed about these profound concepts. We're hoping for some aha moments, maybe some surprising facts that really resonate, no matter your background or, what you thought you knew about spirituality. So let's start uncovering what these teachings actually reveal. Hashtag the extraordinary power of great souls and the nature of destiny, Prarabdha. Okay, so we're going to start by, challenging our usual understanding of what's even possible. We're diving headfirst into the realm of these great spiritual masters, known in these teachings as Mahapurush. The discourse immediately introduces their extraordinary capacities, something that, at first glance just completely defies everyday logic, defies what science tells us.
It's truly fascinating the level these great souls operate on. It's far beyond ordinary human capacity. Our sources, they recount this astounding anecdote. It perfectly illustrates this point. There was a saint who, out of just immense compassion, took on another person's severe cancer. Now listen, this wasn't just simple healing. The cancer was huge. On the person's foot, amputation was the only medical option left.
Wow.
And the saint, in this act of profound self-sacrifice, they actually took that suffering onto themselves, which led to the amputation of their own foot.
I mean, that's just astonishing. It's not just transferring pain, it's the literal physical affliction and its consequence being transferred. It really makes you wonder how. How did they do that? What enables something seemingly impossible like that?
Well, the discourse explains this ability as a manifestation of something called a Bhagavat Tej. Think of it as divine radiance or divine energy, an intensely concentrated conscious energy that literally alters reality. It's a force utterly beyond our normal human comprehension and definitely beyond scientific measurement as we know it. Think of it this way. Our scientific knowledge comes from our natural intellect, right? Which is great for understanding the material world, things we can weigh, measure, grasp intellectually. But this realm of Chidananda Bhava, which means conscious-filled, blissful existence, the divine's very nature, it operates on a completely different order of reality.
So it's like trying to measure joy with a ruler. The tools just don't fit.
Exactly. We're talking about an energetic signature that transcends our physical and mental dimensions.
So science just lacks the right instruments or maybe even the right framework to get a handle on this. It's like using a roadmap for the waking world to navigate a dream. And this is where it gets truly transformative, doesn't it? These great souls, the claim is, they can destroy thousands of sins and faults. How does that happen?
Well, sometimes it's through their sheer spiritual resolve, their willpower. Other times it's the immense, concentrated power of their own devotion, their bhajan, this deep, heartfelt spiritual practice. And, as we just heard, sometimes they even physically experience that suffering themselves. They act like a spiritual crucible purifying things.
So it's like a continuous act of purification, benefiting anyone who takes refuge in them.
Precisely. It really defies worldly logic. For an ordinary person, like you or me, it's impossible to just transfer another person's destiny, their prarabdha, onto ourselves. We can't take on their karmic burden. But these Mahapurush, they possess this unique spiritual power. It allows them to interact with and even transmute the karmic consequences of others. They're continuously doing this through their intense practices, their penance, or by taking the suffering into their own physical bodies. It's a subtle science, totally beyond the grasp of material knowledge.
Right, like the example of Baba Ram Das Ji meditating in a stone pit.
Exactly. His devotion went beyond physical limits. It reinforces this idea that the glory of saints operates on a plane science just can't comprehend. Their minds are so fixed on God, they perceive reality in ways that are, frankly, unfathomable to us. The texts even say Brahma, the creator, can't fully grasp their divine play.
It's clearly a whole different playing field of reality then. So let's talk more about this concept, Prarabdha. It seems absolutely central here. How should we understand it?
Okay, Prarabdha, it's more than just fate.
Hmm.
Imagine your life is like a movie script, right? And it's already written based on all the actions you performed in past lives. The scenes unfolding right now, the experiences you're having, both good and bad,
Hmm.
those are the results of those past actions, what you're meant to experience now.
Hmm.
The discourse mentions two types. There's auspicious prarabdha, those are the positive scenes, happiness from your past good deeds. And then there's inauspicious prarabdha, the challenging scenes stemming from negative actions in the past. And crucially, both of these usually operate under the laws of nature. Prakriti, they just play out mechanically, like gravity.
Right. But here's where it gets really hopeful, I think, especially for anyone listening who feels burdened by their past or, their current situation. For those deeply engaged in devotion to God, it says their parabda is torn to shreds by pajan. That phrase, parabda ki tajan to pajan se ujati hai, it's so vivid, like
Yeah.
destiny being ripped apart.
It is vivid. It suggests a powerful dissolution of that pre-written script. So any momentary suffering these devotees experience, it's not seen as the full karmic payout. It's stated to be a direct result of their surrender, their sharanagati, to the divine. God accepts and transmutes their sins, basically clearing the path for their spiritual progress.
So it's not about avoiding consequences, but about their transformation.
Exactly. It's a profound act of divine mercy, a unique principle of this specific spiritual path. And the Mahapurush, these great souls, they actively experience and sort of cut through the strong prarabdha of those who genuinely surrender to them.
Yeah.
This might happen through their own intense devotion, their rigorous penance, or, by taking it directly onto their own bodies, absorbing the karmic hit, so to speak.
A subtle science, like you said. Material knowledge can't grasp it because it operates on a different level of consciousness, a different divine law.
Precisely. It's why figures like Baba Ram Das Ji, whose deep meditation let him transcend physical pain even in that stone pit, are so revered. Their glory truly goes beyond what science can comprehend because their minds are absorbed in the divine, a reality that, again, even the creator of the universe can't fully grasp. It's just an utterly different dimension of understanding and capability. It allows for this profound transmutation of destiny. #tag the enchanting realm of Vrindavan and its unfathomable grace.
That whole interplay between karma and grace, it really makes you wonder about destiny itself. Like, what if there was a place, a sacred space that could fundamentally alter your prarabdha? And this brings us to the realm of Vrindavan. The discourse presents it as, well, not just a place on a map.
Not at all. It's depicted as a spiritual powerhouse, a destiny-altering abode. The texts say the supreme fortune isn't just visiting Vrindavan for a few days, though that itself brings good fortune. No, the greatest fortune, the Mahabhagya, is to actually reside there with the firm, unwavering resolve to die within its sacred bounds.
Wow. That's intense, residing there with the intention to die there.
It's a profound concept, and it challenges our very understanding of fixed destiny. That decision, that firm resolve to leave one's body in Vrindavan is said to actually change your pre-written destiny. Whatever was fated to happen elsewhere, the time and place of your passing, it's nullified by this spiritual resolve. It's like a complete spiritual override on your karmic blueprint.
A spiritual override. I like that.
And even the thought of residing there, just the idea entering your mind, is considered a sign of immense grace. Specifically, the grace of Sri Radhika, the divine feminine principle, seen as the very essence of Vrindavan.
So what does one actually gain by embracing this Dhamvas, this residence within Vrindavan's boundaries?
The discourse asserts that all the virtues of Bhagavat Dharma spontaneously manifest within the resident. Now, Bhagavat Dharma, it's more than just rules. It's the complete dedication of your mind, word, action, senses, ego, all your karma to God, plus continuous contemplation of the divine. To have all these virtues just awaken naturally simply by being there. It sounds like a spiritual fast track, doesn't it? A miraculous transformation.
It really does, like bypassing years of effort.
It is indeed like a spiritual fast track. And the discourse emphasizes true entry and continuous residence there, with its divine name, form, pastimes. It's not a result of your prarabdha, your past good deeds. It's a gift, pure grace, or kripa. More specifically, the text says, without the grace of Sri Radhika, the thought of even residing there won't enter your heart, let alone the actual experience.
So her grace is the key. She holds the key to Vrindavan.
That's how it's presented. It highlights her supreme position as the bestower of this ultimate spiritual fortune. Her grace is the prerequisite for truly experiencing Vrindavan's transformative power.
So it's like a divine invitation, not somewhere you can just buy a ticket to or earn through merit alone.
Yeah.
And speaking of ultimate goals, We often hear about the four traditional goals in Indian philosophy, right? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, righteousness, prosperity, desire fulfillment, liberation.
Yes, those are the standard four purusharthas, the aims of human life.
But Vrindavan, the discourse tells us, offers something more, something beyond even liberation.
Yes, this is quite unique. The discourse reveals Vrindavan's special gift. It bestows all those four, plus a fifth, supreme goal. And that goal is Prem Dev, divine love. This isn't just a concept. It's described as a profound, verifiable truth for those with faith and conviction. It's considered the ultimate human pursuit, even transcending liberation itself. It leads to a state called Nitya Vihar, this eternal, continuous, intimate play with the divine couple, Radha and Krishna.
Nitya Vihar, eternal play.
And this Nitya Vihar is distinct even from the forms of God, from which avatars like Rama or Krishna themselves originate. It highlights its utterly unique and intimate nature. It's the peak of personal, loving, divine experience.
And the transformative influence of Vrindavan on the heart, it sounds astonishing. The discourse uses this image. Even a heart like a barren wasteland, totally filled with negativity, can sprout mad love, pre-mad for God, just through the grace of the dove. That's radical transformation, a spiritual miracle turning desert into a garden.
It is. And furthermore, the discourse states that in Vrindavan, even actions you might undertake for selfish motives are subtly transformed into acts of devotion, bhajan. That's a unique aspect of the yuham. The very atmosphere purifies and elevates your intentions. It's not just what you do, but how the sacred space changes the quality, the spiritual resonance of your actions. Your chores become devotion.
And it awakens a very specific, incredibly rare desire too, doesn't it? Something most people might not even think of.
Yes. Residence in Vrindavan awakens what's called a durlabh akanksha, a rare, precious desire. This is the longing for ujjwal prem rasamaya dasada, bright, love-filled servitude to the divine couple, Priya Pritam, Radha and Krishna. This includes really intimate desires, personally adorning them, offering them food with your own hands, constantly serving them in their divine pastimes. The discourse emphasizes that the very dust of the dam, Sri Dam Ki Raj, is believed to fulfill this seemingly impossible aspiration, this desire for intimate service. It's considered far more precious than mere intellectual knowledge or even the desire for liberation, because it's rooted in pure, selfless love.
So Vrindavan isn't just a place to visit. It's presented as the ultimate shelter, where the heart finds its true, eternal home. The discourse paints this picture. A Vrindavan resident, once they're free from worldly duties, they literally run back, like running home on holiday. No other place, no natural beauty can tempt them away. Vrindavan becomes their life, breath, and everything, their identity.
It depicts this unwavering devotion, an unbreakable bond, a testament to the Dham's power. And the discourse emphasizes that if your shelter element, your Ashraya Tattva, meaning your faith and reliance on Vrindavan and the divine, is absolute, then Vrindavan itself will bestow all necessary grace, providing for all your needs, material and spiritual. It says you should never leave, not even for millions of wish-filling jewels, let alone trivial things.
That requires immense faith, patience, forbearance, surely.
It does. The divine provision might not always look like you expect, but the promise is it will manifest, the ultimate promise. If you resolutely decide never to leave Vrindavan, even until death, then all external needs that might normally force you to leave, they'll be met right there, within the dam. Because infinite perfections emanate from the Divine Mother's feet, Swamini Ji's, Sri Radhika's feet. It illustrates profound trust in divine providence.
This profound connection, this idea of divine provision, it leads us to a really central, almost startling concept, the divine dance of desire. The core principle here is that God manifests himself in the very form that you desire or perceive. It's active reciprocal, like a mirror reflecting your innermost longings.
Exactly. And the discourse clarifies this with a deeply relatable analogy. Think about loving parents. They might prefer to hold their child close, offer direct comfort, but if the child really desires a toy, they'll give them the toy. In the same way, the supremely compassionate God appears in the form of the toys that we humans crave.
Our toys being worldly pleasures, relationships, material objects.
Right. Even though human birth is fundamentally given for that higher purpose, self-realization, divine union. It's a testament to God's boundless compassion, accommodating our current level of desire.
That's a truly startling point. It reshapes how we see reality. So the implication is, today, whatever you are interacting with, you are directly interacting with God, no one else. That's not just poetry. If I intensely want a new phone and I get it, that's God manifesting as the phone for me.
In essence, yes. If the desire, the cha, that deep craving for worldly enjoyments were to cease, then God would no longer appear as these transient material things. Instead, God would manifest as pure truth, consciousness, and bliss, Sechidananda Rup, his unadulterated divine essence.
This connects directly to that Vedantic principle of Vasudeva Sarvam. All is God, right?
Yeah. Exactly. That truth, that the whole universe is a manifestation of the divine. It becomes experientially real when you give up those desires for worldly pleasures. The world transforms into God. The discourse gives the example of Saint Nandev seeing Lord Vithal not just in the temple, but in his dog, even in a ghost. Even the objects of our attachment, our anger, possessiveness, greed, are, in their ultimate essence, manifestations of God, reflecting our internal state of entanglement.
So if your attraction is towards God,
Towards Bhagavat Bhava, yes. Then everything is experienced as God because that divine consciousness permeates all. But if the attraction is for worldly enjoyments, Bhava, then God appears as the person's objects, substances that fulfill those fleeting desires.
and it's reciprocal, God mirrors the purity of our intention, like that story of Vidarani offering banana peels to Krishna. In her absorption, he accepted the peels like fruit.
A beautiful example. It shows how God truly mirrors and accepts the purity of one's devotion, overlooking external flaws. And it's crucial to understand this compassion isn't just for the devout. God's grace extends even to the most atheistic person, providing the basics, earth, air, sky, demonstrating infinite, unconditional compassion. The only reason we don't experience ultimate bliss right now is our misidentification with the body and senses, which pulls our attraction towards fleeting desires instead of towards God, the source of all bliss.
Okay, so if God is so compassionate, if this path is so available,
Yeah.
why don't people just take refuge in him? Why wander endlessly, seeking happiness in external things? The discourse points to one critical factor: cha, desire, or craving. This is the unseen force holding us back.
Cha is the fundamental differentiator.
Yeah.
And it's key to understand its dual nature. The discourse distinguishes two types. First, worldly desire, craving bodily comforts, material enjoyments, external gratification. This marks you as a pathgoer of Maya, caught in the illusion, chasing shadows.
Okay. And the second type?
Second is spiritual desire, craving God's devotion, God's darshan, vision, liberation, or intimate service to the divine couple. This marks you as a pathgoer of Paramartha, on the path to ultimate reality. And the discourse explicitly states, this spiritual desire is supremely rare, which underscores how few truly seek the divine for its own sake.
And there's a common trap, isn't there? People seeking quick results from minor deities or rituals.
Yes. They believe performing certain actions, karma, will quickly yield results or see these powers in the human realm. This desire for immediate gratification prevents them from approaching God directly. Because God, like that wise, loving father, might actually deny a request if it's not truly for the child's ultimate long-term good.
Whereas the minor deities are more like a shopkeeper.
It's exactly like a shopkeeper.
Yeah.
They'll sell you whatever you ask for. Whether it's good for you or not, they fulfill the transaction based on your immediate request. But God, that compassionate father, only gives what's genuinely for your highest good. If he knows some suffering or delay will ultimately draw you closer, lead to your supreme welfare, he might allow it, seeing it as part of your growth. That's often hard for us to grasp when we want something now.
So all that worldly pursuit, seeking temporary gains, it's ultimately futile. It never truly satisfies.
That's the core message, stated very emphatically. No amount of worldly wealth, position, enjoyment, no matter how vast, brings true, lasting happiness. True, abiding happiness only comes when the mind connects to truth consciousness bliss, Satchidananda Prabhu, the divine's inherent blissful nature. The mind just cannot find true rest in prakriti, in nature, which is always changing and permanent. This misunderstanding leads to that endless, exhausting cycle, seeping temporary fruits through actions, worshiping deities for temporary boons, keeping people trapped in the perishable. The desire to do things for results, rather than just be in divine consciousness and surrender, is a subtle but powerful obstacle.
Okay, so if desires shape how God appears and worldly desires bind us, what about our actions themselves? This brings us to karma, action, and akarma, non-action, which the discourse says is profound and confusing, even for scholars. Kavayo atramohita, even the wise are confused. Why so confusing?
It's a crucial point. It goes against our intuition. Akarma isn't just stopping physical movement. Your body, speech, mind, they're always active. Even sitting still, your mind races with plans, memories, cravings. The discourse is clear. One cannot remain without performing some action for even a second. So the confusion arises because it's not about ceasing action, but about fundamentally changing how and why we act. A much deeper shift. So it's about the intention, the mindset behind the action. What's the key difference between action that binds and action that liberates? The key is the presence or absence of ego and desire for personal results.
Right.
Bondage-inducing karma is action done with that sense, I am the doer, karta bhava. With ego, for personal enjoyment or specific outcomes. That leads to entanglement, creates new karma. In contrast, liberating karma, karma yoga is performing actions as duty, karta karma, detached from results, dedicated to God, bhagavatarpan, or for others' well-being, seeing them as divine. This is the skill of karma yoga kakasho. It lets you act vigorously in the world without being bound. It spiritualizes every action.
I love that analogy you mentioned earlier, the potter's wheel. God supports the clay from below while shaping it from above, like God supporting the devotee with bliss while prarabdha seems to strike. The blow is gentle, softened by divine mercy.
It beautifully illustrates it. Even when karma manifests, the devotee's experience is different due to that divine support. The suffering isn't removed, but its impact is transformed. And the discourse outlines two main ways to transcend karma, making it accessible. First is the path of knowledge, jnana yoga, realizing the instrument's mind, intellect, senses, body belong to nature, prakriti. The realization is, I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer. This is a very high, subtle realization. Often difficult, requires profound discrimination and detachment.
And the second path sounds more accessible, perhaps more direct for many.
The second is the path of devotion, bhakti yoga, often described as simpler, more accessible. This involves completely surrendering the sense of doership, kartapav, to God. Instead of intellectually discerning, I am not the doer, you just offer all your actions, their results, your very self, to the divine. Complete trust in divine will.
So a practical tip then might be, just keep chanting, Radha Radha, do your duties, dedicate them to God, leave the results to Him, and you'll be liberated. Sounds wonderfully straightforward.
It is, in essence. When actions are dedicated to God, they become purified. They transcend their ordinary karmic potential. No action can bind you. This is sarva karma sannyas, true renunciation of actions, not by stopping them, but by offering them to God. Whether you're outwardly active or seemingly inactive, your body, speech, mind are always doing something. The key is dedicating those actions, releasing the egoistic, I am the doer, and attachment to outcomes. That's the art of karma yoga.
This all seems to hinge crucially on the mind, doesn't it? The discourse says the mind is the singular cause of both bondage and liberation. How can one thing hold such opposing power?
Because the mind is the seat of our desires and attachments. A mind absorbed in chintan, constantly dwelling on worldly pleasures, external objects, that leads to suffering and entanglement. The discourse dramatically describes how identifying with the mind's desires, believing what it wants, I want, creates this strange bondage, makes us slaves to its fluctuations, cravings, aversions. The source says our friendship with the mind, our absorption in it, our sense of ownership over it, this is the main cause of our slavery. We get tangled because we mistake the mind's impulses for our own deepest needs.
So liberation is the precise opposite. A mind focused on Bhagavat Chintan, divine contemplation. But that sounds incredibly hard given the mind's constant chatter, distractions, its pull towards worldly stuff. How do you break that friendship?
It is hard, but absolutely necessary to sever that illusory friendship where the mind runs the show. A truly pure mind is nishkam, desireless or selfless. An impure mind is full of cravings, kami, always seeking outside fulfillment, until the mind is purified by consistently connecting it to God's name, His abode like Vrindavan, His pastimes. True, unwavering devotion is impossible. It's a continuous redirection of energy.
And a lot of suffering comes from that fundamental illusion about who we are, right? Thinking we are our thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. Our mistaken identity, believing we're just the body, mind, senses, breath, instead of an eternal anch, a part of God, that leads to this miserable state, being subservient to trivial, fleeting pleasures. The mind skillfully tricks us, makes us think happiness lies only in sensual enjoyment, that life's meaningless without it. God, through the Guru and scriptures, provides the means like Dharma-related actions to purify the mind and dispel this illusion. It's about remembering who we truly are.
Which brings us to the ultimate solution presented. Absolute surrender, Sharanagati. The discourse offers that powerful mantra. Mine is Gurda Gopal, no one else. What happens when you truly embody that?
Once that firm, unwavering resolve takes root in the heart, that conviction, my mind, my body, my life, my nature belong to no one but God, then all problems from infinite births are said to resolve. True God realization occurs immediately. It's a complete transformative letting go of control.
So relinquishing all ownership, not just material stuff, but that deeper sense of owning even ourselves.
Exactly. releasing all apanapan, that sense of ownership or attachment to your body, your subtle body, mind, intellect, even your inherent nature or spiritual progress. This burden of ownership keeps us bound. It must be cut with the scissors of discernment gained through satsang, spiritual company, and truths, and then fully offered at God's feet. It's profoundly liberating.
And this leads to a deeply comforting thought. Once you give your house, your heart, life, being to God, it becomes his responsibility. If there are impurities inside, desires, negativity, God himself removes them.
That's what the discourse states. If there's love, it's his gift, not a source of ego for you. This leads to a life of divine carelessness, almasti. True spiritual mendicancy, fakiri, free from worldly worries. You literally stop carrying the burden of your own existence. Total trust in divine providence.
Wow.
And the discourse emphasizes, ultimately, God realization is an outcome of his grace, not just human effort alone. Our only real task is to constantly remember our surrender, our dedication, any remaining ownership, any part we hold back, any I am the doer or this is mine. That inevitably impedes the path. Complete surrender means letting God be God in your life. Hashtag the unparalleled power of the divine name, Namajap, and its miracles.
Okay, let's dive into something truly potent now. Something the discourse declares with absolute certainty, like pounding the table emphasis. The unparalleled power of the divine name, Namajap. Chanting or remembering God's name. The ultimate truth, it states, repeating for emphasis. Satyam satyam puna satyahari namav kevalam satyam. It is true, true, again true. Only the name of Hari God is true. Everything else, from Brahma the creator down to a blade of grass, is temporary, changing, part of Maya, the illusion.
This is foundational, a guiding principle in these teachings. If you develop a genuine taste, a profound love for chanting God's name, the discourse declares God himself has nothing more valuable to give. It's the greatest treasure, a spiritual gift beyond measure, fulfilling all desires, spiritual and material. And it explicitly states God's name acts as a powerful protector, shielding you from retribution for past or present sins, no matter how grave. No sin can harm one who takes refuge in the name, because of its purifying protective power.
That's an astonishing claim. It suggests Namajap has this miraculous power over destiny, parabdha, that goes beyond what other rigorous spiritual paths achieve.
Indeed, the discourse makes a groundbreaking claim here. While great ascetics, yogis, scholars who attain Brahma Vidya knowledge of the impersonal Brahman can certainly burn accumulated sins and destroy current ones, they still must experience their parabdha, their pre-written destiny. Their karmic debts, though purified, must still play out somehow, physically or mentally.
But the name offers a different kind of freedom from parabdha.
Yes, that's the name's unique, unparalleled ability. For someone firmly established in the name, a namanishta devotee, their parabdha may not even touch them. It can be experienced like a mere dream. For instance, you might dream of being severely beaten, wake up realizing the suffering was only a dream, yet the karmic debt is cleared. Fulfilled in that illusory experience, it's as if God, through his mercy and the name's power, lets the karma manifest in a way that fulfills the requirement without causing real, deep, lasting suffering. The impact is softened, even negated.
That's where that beautiful analogy of the mother's gentle hand comes in, isn't it? Illustrates this perfectly. Like a loving mother pretends to scold, raises her hand, but it softens to a gentle tap.
Exactly. So too does God allow parab to manifest for his devoted children. The blow is light, almost negligible. The discourse describes it like a potter shaping a pot, holding it from below with one hand and striking it from above with the other. God's hand of bliss supports the devotee while parabdha is gently worked out. It vividly shows God's immense mercy, reducing a potentially crushing blow to something manageable, almost illusory, an act of divine love cushioning destiny's impact.
Amazing.
And this leads to an even higher state of remembrance, a japa. This is where the divine name just flows spontaneously within. No conscious effort, no mental exertion. The source describes it poetically. The breath and name become one. Nam shwaz dubilakshalate, inkope damoko fari. Name and breath move as one, you can't tell the difference. Continuous internal chanting.
Of like continuous, effortless meditation, a constant divine connection, and it sounds incredibly effective. The discourse mentions Narayana Swami achieving God realization in just 4 years through diligent ajapa-jap practice. That level requires intense yearning, deep detachment from worldly desires, right?
It does. A complete reorientation of inner life. The discourse explains methods to cultivate it. Chanting names and prayers diligently in solitude, weeping to God with intense longing for unbroken devotion, cultivating indifference to worldly enjoyments. those worldly pleasures. They reveal themselves as poisonous, ultimately unsatisfying when your mind fixes on the divine, when that higher taste emerges. And the discourse emphasizes God quickly fulfills that desire for unbroken devotion in a sincere seeker. He often deals with lower worldly desires, first fulfills them quickly, or diminishes them to clear the path for the higher aspiration. Like Vibhishana approaching Lord Rama, his first desire was Ravana's throne. Rama fulfilled that first. Then Vibhishana could ask for pure devotion. Similarly for us, if we truly yearn for unbroken devotion, God clears away or quickly fulfills remaining worldly desires, so the higher, purer aspiration can be realized. Hashtag the virtues of a true seeker and the discipline of the heart.
So, with all this incredible insight into grace, the name, transforming destiny, what qualities should a true seeker, a sadhak, actively cultivate? The discourse says specific virtues naturally arise and they're crucial for progress. A ninefold path to purity, essential inner discipline.
The first is ahimsa, nonviolence. And this isn't just physical harm, it extends to mental and verbal nonviolence too. It means being so sensitive you walk carefully, bowing your head to avoid stepping on insects, and critically, controlling speech to avoid verbal arrows that wound hearts. Those wounds fester longer, deeper than physical ones. However, the discourse adds a critical nuance, vital for discernment. While generally supreme, ahimsa's application depends on place, occasion, and dharma, righteous duty. In extreme cases, like a threat to nation or religion, King Vin's oppressive actions against dharma. For example, the discourse suggests violence can be greater than nonviolence for the protection of dharma itself. It's subtle, complex, requires great discernment. Dharma dictates right action, not a rigid rule.
That's powerful. Not blanket pacifism, but nuanced right action.
Right.
What's next?
Satya, truthfulness, complete consistency, thought, word, deed. What you think you say you do. Absolutely essential for a japa, that spontaneous chanting. A mind burdened by falsehoods can't be truly pure or focused.
So abandon all falsehoods,
Yes.
period, and then?
Asteya, non-stealing, straightforward, never taking what isn't yours physically, mentally, through exploitation. Then brahmacharya, continence. For householders, regulated moderation. For renunciates, lifelong unbroken celibacy, redirecting vital energy.
What about how we talk about others? So common.
That leads to apashunya. No backbiting, no gossip, no speaking ill behind backs. The discourse sternly warns against gossip, says it profoundly pollutes the heart of speaker and listener. Instead of discussing others, strictly direct conversations to divine topics, glories of Sri Radhika, stories of saints. And it emphasizes such actions gossiping attract negative karma, can prevent you from finding joy in your own life. The universe reflects your actions back. You might face similar challenges or defame yourself.
A serious warning indeed. What are the next virtues?
Laja, shame and sin. A deep internal aversion to committing sinful acts even mentally. A conscience that recoils from impurity. Then amanyata, a complete lack of desire for honor or respect. Profound humility. This is presented as crucial and very dangerous, a dangerous obstacle, because the ego's desire for validation is so subtle, so pervasive.
Dangerous because it's so ingrained, especially in our world, like the guru bowing to everyone, showing true humility.
Precisely. A truly God-realized soul is devoid of pride. They don't seek or even accept honor from others. The guru prostrating fully to everyone, even disciples, exemplifies this. Not theater, but an inner state of complete humility. Eighth is pavitrata, purity. Body, clothes, thoughts, behavior. And an intriguing point. The more pure you remain, the more attachment to the body, Shurirag, will be destroyed. Conversely, impurity deepens body attachment, perpetuating suffering.
Fascinating link between outer purity and inner detachment. And the ninth? Sounds like an antidote to modern discontent.
Santosh, contentment, being happy, accepting whatever God provides, encapsulated in Jo Pyaro Kar Sohi Mohe Bhav. Whatever my beloved does, that pleases me. This wealth of contentment, Santosh Dhan, is the ultimate treasure. It naturally destroys all desires, cutting dissatisfaction at the root. Remember, the saint asked if he got food, replied, I have received hunger today. That is the Lord's will. And lastly, titiksha, forbearance, tolerance, bearing harsh words, physical pain, adverse circumstances with great patience, a smile, understanding them as lessons or passing phases, described as a mark of a divine associate, Bhagavan Ka Parshad, someone aligned with divine will.
And a caution against irritability, agitation, the opposites of forbearance. These are profound virtues, require significant inner strength, consistent practice, which brings us to the stubborn resolve of a true sadhak, that unwavering determination.
Yes. The discourse emphasizes the stubborn nature needed. Not for the faint-hearted. Even after failing thousands of times, falling short repeatedly, you must refuse to give up. This relentless effort, born of intense yearning for the divine, eventually opens the path, brings success. Unyielding determination overcomes all obstacles, internal and external.
So it's a no retreat, no stagnation approach. Constant forward movement, even tiny steps.
Exactly. The discourse uses that powerful metaphor. We may stumble, we may falter, but we can neither stop nor turn back. This unyielding commitment, made through a sacred oath to yourself and the divine, carries you through trials, temptations. Without this steadfast resolve, Maya, the illusory power governing the material world, is simply too strong, too deceptive.
And Maya will present countless temptations, right? Making worldly pleasures seem sweet, alluring, satisfying.
When in reality they're described as poisonous long-term, leading only to more entanglement, more suffering. You must never abandon the true path for such fleeting joys.
So the discourse encourages taking this oath now in your heart. I will abandon my life, but not my path.
Yes, that deep conviction, that complete internal commitment is presented as a potent force against Maya's illusions, the mind's demands, a profound self-consecration. If you make that firm resolve to stay in devotion's sacred abode or within truth's principles, even at life's cost, all your needs, material and spiritual, will be met without you deviating. It shows the immense strength of such commitment.
This whole journey through virtues, resolve, it leads us to the very apex, divine love, prem rasa. And the discourse makes a truly bold claim here, that the bliss of Vrindavan's divine rasa, its emotional essence of love, the flavor of divine relationship, far surpasses even Brahmananda. The bliss of realizing the impersonal Brahman, considered highest by other paths. That's a powerful distinction.
It is, placing specific devotional, relational love above ultimate formless realization. This intimate rasa is described as a closely guarded secret, revealed only through the Guru's grace. The Guru often embodying the divine associates, the Sakis, Radha and Krishna's intimate female companions. It's a state so profound, even great beings like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Shukadeva, revered figures, have limited access or comprehension of its innermost details, especially its intimate service-oriented aspects. Their access is limited in terms of direct, personal, intimate service within the divine play.
So an experience beyond even their understanding in some ways. How is this rasa actually experienced? How does it manifest?
The discourse describes its transformative effect through vivid descriptions. Radha and Krishna's playful dances, Ras Leela, their exquisite beauty, their eternal pastimes, Leela in Vrindavan's sacred groves. The mere words of scriptures describing these pastimes are called an ocean of rasa, capable of inducing silent, hand-folded awe where speech is lost, the mind utterly absorbed. Such is the potency of this divine love. It transports you.
And this love leads somewhere beyond traditional liberation. Not just freedom, but active engagement with the divine.
Yes, it leads to Nitya Vihar, that eternal, continuous, loving play with the divine couple, distinct even from the God forms from which avatars originate, highlighting its unique, intimate nature. It's not just merging or blissful oneness. It's active, personal, loving participation in their eternal pastimes, perpetual divine relationship and service.
Within this apex, there's that particular aspiration, Shriyang Siva, intimate personal service. You said earlier it's extremely rare.
While many seek knowledge or liberation, the desire to render Shriyang Seva, intimate service like dressing, feeding, adorning Radha and Krishna in their eternal pastimes, is indeed Bodhidurlabh, extremely rare. It signifies profound selfless love, complete surrender, seeking not just spiritual gain, but intimate participation in the divine play, an active, loving role. And the discourse highlights even performing external, tangible service to the deity, Pragat Seva, in this world, can, through grace and the right attitude, lead to Chidananda Seva, divine, consciousness-filled service in the spiritual realm. Every action, no matter how small or mundane externally, becomes part of the divine play, leading to a higher spiritual reality.
Which brings us to Ananya Bhakti, exclusive devotion. What defines this undivided loyalty, this singular focus?
Ananyata is the hallmark of the highest devotion. Exclusive, undivided love for your chosen deity, seeing them as the complete manifestation of God. The discourse illustrates this powerfully with Sripad Prabodhananda Saraswati, a great devotee. He explicitly states he doesn't desire the vision of the opulent Lord Lakshmi Pati Vishnu in meditation, nor does he crave liberation, Kaivalyapada absorption into the impersonal absolute. His sole focus, his heart's deepest yearning, is intimate service to Radha in Vrindavan's groves, expressed as Radha ke Nikunj Manjultar Vrindavanam Jivanam. Radha in Vrindavan's beautiful groves is my very life.
So it's not disdain for other forms or paths. It's a love so profound it makes others seem less appealing by comparison. A spontaneous preference, not judgment.
Precisely. This level of priyata, dearness, this profound exclusive affection, it's born from deep understanding, a unique internal connection. Not ignorance or disrespect, it's a spontaneous preference from the deepest heart connection. A love so complete it naturally excludes other attractions or aspirations because that chosen form fulfills all spiritual longings.
And how do we attain this high state, this deep understanding, exclusive devotion, especially given the path's challenges? The discourse emphasizes the critical role of a guiding hand. The Guru, great souls, Mahapurush, it states, the path to God realization is the path of anugaman, following. What does that mean practically?
It means selecting an ideal, God-realized great soul as your master, and strictly adhering to their instructions. This is considered the surest, most direct way. These masters have already walked the path. The discourse offers personal testimony about Udyabhava, emphasizing, when you truly accept a Mahapurush as your ideal, their presence, even physically absent, becomes tangible, experiential, like a father's loving embrace. This happens because true Mahapurush are Brahmaswarup, embodiments of Brahman, the absolute reality, thus omnipresent. Their spiritual influence isn't limited by physical existence.
So unwavering obedience to the Guru is paramount, not just suggested, but a spiritual necessity.
Absolutely. The discourse reiterates, without following the explicit commands, ajapalan, of such a Mahapurush, it's impossible to stay consistently on the path. Maya is extremely powerful, constantly distracting, deceiving. Every step, spiritual or seemingly worldly, should be guided by the Guru's instruction. Encapsulated in Binagavu Ek Kadam Vine, not even one step without permission. This unwavering obedience is considered the direct path to attaining divine love, Prem Rasa, because it aligns your individual will with the divine will, as embodied by the Guru. #outro.
Wow, what an incredible journey we've taken today, seriously. We've delved into the extraordinary powers of great souls transmuting destiny, journeyed to the enchanting, destiny-altering realm of Vrindavan, explored that profound truth. God manifests exactly as our desires dictate, a cosmic mirror. We also uncovered how our actions, even our minds, can bind or liberate us, all culminating in the power of unwavering devotion and absolute surrender. These aren't just ancient tales or abstract ideas, are they? They feel like a practical, life-altering roadmap for profound well-being, maybe even ultimate realization, resonating deeply with our human experience.
Indeed. The core insights we've unpacked really highlight several profound truths for you, the listener, to consider. Firstly, extraordinary grace is available. Through great souls, through sacred abodes like Vrindavan, grace that can utterly transform destiny and awaken the highest divine love. Secondly, our desires fundamentally shape our reality, how God manifests. Releasing worldly desire is the key that unlocks true divine experience, allowing God to reveal himself in his true, blissful form. Thirdly, true action, karma yoga, is about dedicating all deeds to the divine, letting go of ego, attachment to results, finding liberation in selfless devotion. Fourthly, and perhaps most powerfully, the divine name is declared the ultimate truth, an unparalleled means to overcome all obstacles, even the most stubborn karmic reactions.
And don't forget those practical virtues we discussed: nonviolence, truthfulness, humility, contentment, forbearance. Cultivated under a realized master's guidance, presented as absolutely essential for authentic spiritual progress. So as you reflect on all this, what does it mean for you? What is the deepest desire of your heart right now underneath all the surface stuff? And are you willing to take that leap, to truly give the reins of your life to the divine, trusting that what you truly need, not just what you want, will be provided, guiding you to your highest good?
I really encourage you to ponder these profound truths deeply. Maybe embark on your own internal deep dive into devotion, into self-surrender. The journey itself, though challenging, requiring immense faith, offers unparalleled fulfillment, eternal joy. As these teachings reveal, the true path to God realization is ultimately the path of complete surrender to the divine. It's a journey not just to an answer, but to transformation itself.
Powerful thoughts to carry with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive. We'll be back soon with more illuminating insights. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.